Welcome to Unfiltered Summit Sisters. I'm Gina.
And I'm Julia.
We are two ride-or-die best friends who are paving the path for what true, authentic relationships look like.
We're facing hardships head-on, having real, uncensored conversations, supporting each other's growth, and shining a light on true, raw healing.
We are navigating the world the best we know how.
Having a hell of a time doing it.
Laughing every step of the way.
Through the rain
and sunshine.
This is Canyon Culture. I just can't. It's just so freaking pretty. Everything is so freaking pretty.
So we're in one of our favorite places in the canyon. We have several, but this is one that's open year round. This is the furthest you can go up the canyon all year round, unless the entire canyon's shut down for a moment, like for rock slides or avalanches.
Right.
But you and I will do a lot of our journaling in our time here, and this view is one of our favorites. And no picture and no video has ever captured the intensity of what this is happening behind us.
It's amazing. One of my favorite things to do. Today was too cold, but we're getting to the point where I can come up here before the sun's up, and park here, and then I sit on the hood of my car, and it's warm because I drove, right? Sit on the hood of my car with my Bible and my journal and my coffee, and talk to God as the sun comes up over the mountain.
It's the best. Who wouldn't want to start their day here?
Yeah.
I have a specific way I park, so I have a view. I have a whole thing. I'm excited for summer, and I think one of the things that we keep daydreaming about, whether that happens this year or future years, is going on trips.
Yeah. Which involves road tripping with...
Oh, we're not flying?
10 children.
We're not buying 12 plane tickets to fly places?
Did you win the lottery recently and not tell me?
Well, no, I did not.
Okay, well then yes, we will be road tripping.
Good thing you have a 12-passenger van. No extra people
You're
can
welcome.
come. No extra people can come.
In the future, we're going to need 2 of them.
Which sucks because then you and I are not together.
So I already got... No. The future partners.
The boy van and the girl van?
Exactly.
Can we pick... Maybe not boy girl van and girl van, because some of the girls I like, and then some of the... I like all of them, but I'm just saying for road trip purposes, there's certain kids that are more fun than others.
How are we going to pick seats or pick cars? Are we going to draw straws?
No,
if you get short straws, you're in the B car.
That's what I'm saying. We pick the kids that we know are going to be our fun.
Yeah.
Because if there are kids the music's too loud, other van.
Other car.
Other van. We're not doing that.
Go get in the dad car.
Right. If they're I don't like these snacks, get out.
Yeah.
So what kind of things? Okay, so you've done the trip to Texas several times now.
Yeah, we've road tripped from Utah to Texas and back multiple times now, which is about 22 and a half hours. But depending on weather and traffic and things like that, it has been the shortest I've ever done it is 22 and a half. The longest that I've ever done it is closer to 25.
That's because you and I are rock stars and we just freaking crushed it.
We really
22 hours.
We really are.
If you haven't listened to that episode of how it's called Moving to Utah, if anybody hasn't gone, go back and listen to it, because it's an incredible story about faith, but two, just that was such a fun. We took a 22-hour road trip with 10 kids, and we have nothing but fond memories. I literally have 0 bad memories of those 22 hours.
It was fabulous.
Even my butt hurting, I was whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. It's kind of like childbirth. You forget all the bad, and all you have is good.
So let's talk a little bit about just road tripping with that many kids and what that kind of looked like for us.
So I grew up road tripping. That's any vacation we did was camping, and we road tripped to wherever we were going.
Right.
So whether it was from California to Utah, whether it was the Southern California, Northern California, we did a full, not across the United States, but we did a lot of states. So I grew up with that.
Okay.
Your kids, remind me again how before we did the first road trip from Texas to Utah, what was the longest your kids had road trip before?
Oh, whopping 4 hours.
And how well did that, what was that like? Did they handle it well?
They did handle it well, except 45 minutes into the trip, they saw a sign that said Dallas.
Oh no. And that's where you're going?
Oh, we're here. And I went, oh no, we still have 3.5 hours.
Okay. My kids have had spent a lot of time in the car, and so I didn't even think about the fact that you brought up that you're my kids haven't done this, and I was oh right.
But I think that was to the advantage because they didn't know what they were signing up for.
Yeah. So I think we prepared. I just still get amazed with how well we communicate and prepare and execute without fully communicating.
Yeah.
So I feel like we got everything we needed with very little communication of what that needed to look like.
Yeah.
I apparently am the snack person, any road trip. Like, I took a 1-hour trip and I was like, I got the snacks. And I show up and everybody's like, it's an hour. I was like, and? I don't know. I don't understand where you're going with that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, kind of. But anyway, I think so with your van, there's several rows. So we made sure that every row had an appropriate amount of snacks.
Mm-hmm.
So the trick is you don't give them the entire bag of chips. You separate it into littler bags so that as they hand out the snacks, they just have a limited amount or else the whole bag is gone.
Right.
And the idea was to make the snacks last the whole trip. We're not stopping for meals.
Mm-hmm.
We're not stopping. So that was one of the things. So we went shopping a couple days before and we separated everything that needed to be separated. We bought things that were already separated.
Mm-hmm.
And then we stashed leftovers so that we can restock during gas trips.
Right.
And I think that was beneficial. And then you always make sure every row's got a trash can so that it's just like as the kids are needing things, it's easy.
So what kind of snacks did we
get?
We
did Uncrustables and we had like freeze-dried fruit.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had jerky and we had popcorn. Did we have popcorn?
We had popcorn.
Kids love that.
We had these little snacks from Costco that had, I think they had like dried cranberries and nuts and cheese.
Yes. I'm pretty sure you and I were the only ones that liked those.
They were delicious.
I love them.
I ate them.
Yeah, we love those. But I like a variety. I always make sure there's a little bit of sweet and there's salty and there's just like, especially as the drivers, I like to have certain snacks that keep me awake.
Right.
So things I can munch on to keep me awake. So I'm not going for filling. I'm going for keeping myself doing something to stay awake.
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't get it this time, but one of my favorites is Frosted Flakes. I'll just eat dry Frosted Flakes. Just go, 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 go. But that's where we got our love for nerd clusters.
Mm-hmm.
Was on this road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Water, always make sure there's hydration.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else but it doesn't really matter. I don't think what we had was super special. It was just making sure we had enough and it easily accessible.
Mm-hmm. I think getting things that we knew the kids liked, things that were healthy, and then also some treats that they hadn't had before that were exciting that we could give out at certain times.
Uncrustables aren't something that we normally typically have, either of our families. So that was, like, the kids were pretty stoked about that.
Yeah.
And then just preparing trash cans for each row. So, one of my favorites is that we had row leaders, so that we made sure a big kid was on each row to hand out snacks to keep things clean and things like that.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us about the different activities that we had for the kids to do?
Yeah, we had activities. So every row had a snack bag, a trash bag, and an activity bag. The different activities, I went and got baking sheets from Walmart. I think they were like 98 cents each.
Yeah.
And so I got 10 of those just so that the kids had something solid to either draw on or put food on or snack on, just kind of like a cheap tray.
But they were small, like they weren't huge, and it worked so well.
Yeah, or if they wanted to do a puzzle on it, or if they wanted to play magnets on it. We had all kinds of activities. We had coloring books, we had puzzles, we had card games. Mm-hmm. We had
games that like were interactive, like a Bop It.
Yes.
Did we have a mini Bop It and things like that so kids could play?
Yes.
But I also think we made sure that each row had a good, like the right age group so that the activities matched that age group.
Well, and then even simple things like we had Post-its. We had tissues, things that they could just, tear apart and play with that were going to get thrown away no matter what.
Yeah, that was something that I had learned when Russell, my oldest, was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we didn't have, this was before TVs were normal in cars.
Yeah.
And so we had this child, so we had to go from Utah to California, and it was easily a 10-hour drive, and we wanted to make it in one shot. And I was looking up different ways to make the road trip fun for him. And I just went to the dollar store and got things like Post-its and tissue, and I just handed to him, and he could just
destroy it.
Like, I looked back one time, and the whole back seat was full of tissue.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, that cost me $1.
Perfect.
Yeah. But
But even with the fun activities where there are all these stickers and you make faces with the stickers.
Yeah.
That was really fun. There were some reusable ones
Mm-hmm.
where it was kind of like a landscape. So there was one that was a farm.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a barn and a pasture, and then the stickers were reusable stickers, so they could set up their own little scene
Yeah.
and then put the stickers back and somebody else could use it. And then I think there was a dinosaur one too.
I love that.
And so we had, not every row had the same activities.
No.
They had a bunch of different activities, so we could also swap activity bags
Keep
from row to row.
Keep it exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to back up a tiny bit because I'm remembering my parents, because any vacation we did, like I said earlier, was a road trip to a campsite. And my mom did such an amazing job at making that part of the trip.
Yes.
So what she did, which we didn't do, or maybe we did, what she did is she had like prize bags. So like every hour, every 2 hours, we got a prize bag, which either had like a different activity or a fun new snack or just something to keep it lively.
Yeah.
We may have done something similar.
Yeah.
I want to say it sounds like, I think we did. But I just remember that it wasn't like, can we hurry up and get there? That my memories, some of my fondest memories are the drive.
Absolutely.
And I think we accomplished that with our kids. And I love that that was something that we geared for, because the end result was being at my house, which is great, but the trip wasn't was supposed to be the fun part. And yet the memories that we have are awesome. And I feel like setting up the food and the activities and just the way that we kind of coached the kids through, like we talked a couple of episodes ago just about little rituals that we have. Mm-hmm. And so we'd get in the car and be like, hey, line leader or row leader, is your row buckled?
Right.
And so we had the kids, I don't know, just little things like that just kind of made it fun.
Yeah.
And so they have fond memories of that road trip. And I want to say that when you guys went back to Texas for Thanksgiving and we didn't go with you, I think the kids, I think a good group of the kids were like, they're not coming, we're not going, why? No.
Right.
That's not. Some of the kids are like, ooh, more space, because between the two of us, we fill up your entire van.
Every seat.
Every
all 12.
seat. Done.
Some of the other essentials that are coming to mind, puke bags.
You
can order a huge chunk of those off Amazon. I made sure every row had a couple of those just because I didn't know, if anybody was going to get sick. I also brought Dramamine, car sick medicine just in case. We had a bunch of essential oils with us. Peppermint especially can help just with tummies that need some settling. Wipes. We had wipes.
Wipes are essential.
Yeah.
Because, no matter what, it doesn't matter what snack you get, kids figure out how to make it sticky and messy.
For real.
You're like, how are they going to do that? And then, oh, you did it.
Yeah. Well, and then for us, we had sunglasses. We each had our own headphones because at some point, we drove 22 and a half hours. So we were driving in the middle of the night when everyone else was sleeping.
Yeah.
But we needed to stay awake so we could put our headphones in and listen to music or podcasts or whatever. What else? We had water for us. I had energy drinks for me. Was there anything else that you and I had?
I made sure we had extra long, I don't know why, but I was like, we need extra long power cords just in case.
Yes.
So in case the little boys, our two littlest behind us, were having a moment, we could give them a phone. We made sure we had movies.
Yes.
But our goal was to hold off as long as possible for the movies. And we did.
Yeah, they did such a good job.
Yeah, we really held off on that, which I'm so proud of them for. And I'm proud of us. It was kind of like, maybe we should put a movie in because they may not even get to watch the whole thing before we get home, kind of an idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as for you and I go, it was minimal, but it was because we were driving. But I think everybody who wasn't driving needed to stay very comfortable.
Yeah.
So the person who wasn't driving had a blanket and a pillow and things to keep them so they could sleep to take the next shift.
We also had a first aid kit with us. We had a car emergency kit as well. And then just, personal safety things. We'll leave it at that.
I like that. Okay, so real quick, give me two of your favorite parts of the trip.
For sure, all of just the singing and dancing. My oldest, Madison, created a road trip playlist for us that had kid-friendly versions of most of the songs.
Yeah.
And just all the kids and us just dancing and singing. By far my favorite.
That is my favorite as well, mainly because because when we jumped in the car at 9:00 at night, these kids still hadn't known each other more than less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
And the first song that came on, they are all singing. I loved how I think the kids bonded in such a cute way through that.
Yeah.
So I remember Kenzie and Russell after the first time we got gas, and they were just like their loud selves.
Yeah.
And they're playing games with each other, and we're just like, you guys be quiet. But they were just like, it just showcased their relationship now. Like, it started that early, and I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about how we decided who was going to sit where. So in my mind, I think the biggest thing was that my littlest was close enough for me to reach.
Mm-hmm. Same.
And then past that, it was more of like putting car seats in places where other people who weren't in car seats could lean on them or put a pillow on them. Those were my only two thoughts, really.
I think that was a good strategy. And I think I remember them like, I want to sit next to so-and-so. Like, they already wanted to sit next to certain kids, which I thought was really interesting. So trying to accommodate that, but yeah, like trying to figure out car seats as far as, and then like getting in and out. Mm-hmm. Like, if this kid is on the inside and there's a car seat here, can they get out well because they're tiny enough for it? Mm-hmm. So let's not put Russell there, who is almost our size.
Right.
To have to climb over. But I think that's important, But then, did we even switch up? I don't even know if we switched up, but we were ready. Like, we were prepared to be like, hey, rotate. But it went well.
Yeah, it did. It did. And then I had a bunch of my little ones did wear pull-ups on the drive just in case, because our plan was to only stop for gas. Yeah. But we were open to, if we needed to stop, we were open to that.
Absolutely. We just never had to.
We didn't.
So tell us a little bit about like what's stopping, like what kind of tips and tricks, like what kind of things did we end up executing that made that road trip successful with stopping?
So we really only stopped for gas. Mm-hmm. Now we're limited by my car's gas tank, and it's a big car, so we have to stop every 3 to 4 hours to get gas.
Didn't feel that often, honestly. But it was like nice to stretch our legs that often.
Yeah. So we would hop out and grab gas. Most of the time, you would fill the gas. I would grab all 10 kids and take them in to go to the restroom, because that takes a little bit of time for all 10 of them to go to the restroom. And while gas was filling, you would clean the car, which was that's a huge tip right there. Every time you stop, clean the car out. Get
the trash out, restock anything that needs to get restocked, clean up any messes that you can clean up.
Yep. Check water, check snacks.
Yep. So that you're revamped for the next thing. And so we're doing that every 3 to 4 hours. We were never like, I'm out of this, or this is a big mess. It just, it kept going really smooth.
Yeah. And then the whole time, I have the 10 kids and, making sure that they go to the restroom too. Just keeping your eyes open and aware, because we did have to stop in the middle of the night quite a few times. And so just being really aware of my surroundings.
The fact that you have a bunch of kids, half of them don't even know you.
Yes. And so everybody would go potty, and then we would come back to the car and climb back in. You and I would go potty at some point and come back and climb back in. And we were, our stops were 10 minutes.
They were fast. I was like,
less.
That's one of the things that I was super surprised. There was never any like, okay, let's go. It was just done.
Yeah.
I do remember you and I would do like lunges and squats as we're waiting for kids to get in the car. We're like, we need to move. Like you and I are not used to being that stationary for so long. Yes. So we're over there just lapping the parking lots with lunges and squats.
We did, totally doing lunges. I've got my, personal safety device on me.
It's great. It was great.
Watching all around the car.
Yeah.
It was so good.
And not to take this into a dark space, but I love that I kind of feel like that I think that was like the first trip I've done where I was just like there wasn't yelling or screaming.
Yes.
Or trauma. Like it was just peaceful and good and fun.
It was so good. So good. Nobody made anybody get out of the car on the side of the road or anything. No. So that was
through stuff.
That was positive.
Yeah. Look at us.
It was amazing and so fun, and like you said, we just communicated so well. We ran like a well-oiled machine. We shared
a brain.
Yeah.
It was awesome. But I think it showcases, like, I don't know, it gets me excited because I'm like, oh, we can absolutely do that again, and we can go anywhere.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, so let's go there.
Okay.
Where is one place that you are really excited to road trip with all of us soon-ish?
Can I say 2?
Sure.
Okay, thanks.
If they're not mine.
Oh, dang it. I would love to go to the beach, and I think that I would love to go to Northern California. My brother lives up there.
Okay.
And so we could go up there and we could get like an Airbnb near him. And
Yeah.
I think he really enjoys like hosting, like kind of a thing. Like,
Aw.
let's go do this. And he's a funkle like you've ever, like he would love
But
to
does he realize that he's inherited
Yeah, he does.
6 more and me?
I don't know, like us being in our own space would be good.
Yes.
Not at his house, I
Yes.
think would be good. But if we prepare him and we're like, these kids need some fun and
Yeah.
we need, I think he'd love it. So we'd get beach and then we'd get like local.
Yeah.
And he would cook us good food. But it is it's a 10-hour drive, which
nothing.
I know, right? Like now that I say that, I'm like, oh, that's whatever.
It's nothing.
We each take a 5-hour shift. Done.
Let's go right now. Get swimsuits and a towel. We're leaving.
That's all you need. Maybe a bucket and a shovel.
I love that. That would be so fun. What's your second one?
I honestly, like, I've lived in Utah for 17, 18, I don't know, a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not been to nearly, like, I don't even know if I've been to any of the state parks, like Zion or Bryce Canyon or the Arches. Like, we went through Moab, but I've never been to Moab.
Yeah.
And there's just these incredible places. And now that I have, like, people to go with, because I didn't want to go by myself.
Right.
And there was a lot of like fear and a lot of there's a lot of trauma with that that's healed. And so now I'm like, let's go.
Yes.
Let's go and show our kids the beauty that this state has, other than this amazing mountain that's literally our backyard.
Right.
Let's not belittle that. We take our kids up here all the time. We make sure they understand how beautiful this is. But what Utah has to offer is kind of incredible.
I'm amazed by how many national parks we are within driving distance of.
Yeah. Like a short driving distance.
Yes.
So those are the 2 I want to do.
Okay.
I want to show the kids and hike and do beautiful things with camping and all that. And then
Love
I would love to go do beach.
Yeah.
Really good food.
Madison really wants to go to the beach for her birthday, so maybe we could surprise her and plan a trip.
Oh.
We have enough time.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Mine is Yellowstone.
Really?
I want to go so bad.
Tell me why.
I've just seen and heard all the beautiful things about it. And we, as a kid, we really didn't go many places.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's just so much of this beautiful world that I haven't seen. And nature is something where I feel really close and connected to God.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to go. I cannot wait.
I have a friend that I've known since elementary, junior high, and she lives right outside of Yellowstone.
Perfect. If you could tell her that we need 12 beds.
Oh, she would be all over it. Like, she would be our personal tour guide. And so we would get another, like, local, this is all the spots to go.
Yeah.
Skip those, because those aren't worth it, right?
Perfect.
Like, so we've got it set.
You know what my favorite thing about all of this is?
The food.
You know what my second favorite thing about all of this is?
What's that?
We're living life
yes.
now. We are not waiting on partners. We're not waiting on men. They will come in God's time when they're supposed to come.
Yeah.
But right now, you and I are some badass single moms, and we are living life and making memories, and we're doing it.
Well, what's funny is that when we were in Texas and you made a comment about coming out here, I'm used to a lot of empty, I don't even know what you call it, because they're not promises, but empty thought processes.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you said it and then it happened, and then you just said it now, and I was like, oh shit, this is happening. like I'm not counting on it, but like the fact that it is a reality, that it could be a reality, is that, like, I am a little struck. And so the fact that you just said it, I was like, oh, like we could start planning, and this could actually be either this year or next year. But
yeah.
So that's exciting. It's very exciting.
Let's end with gratitude.
Okay.
What are you grateful for today?
I am grateful that I can have a hard day, and even like the next morning as I'm journaling or talking to God, I'm like, yesterday was such a good day. And then I start thinking about the details, and I'm like, oh, that was a hard day. I forgot. Like, I forgot that it was a hard day, because it wasn't actually, like, it is a hard day. I don't want to belittle that, but it's not dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's just normal hard. And I'm grateful for that, because the amount of gratitude I have for what was hard yesterday is able to flow.
Yeah. I love it. I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for just your spontaneousness and your hard work and your tenacity, and that we can just pick up and decide to go do something with our babies. Because I think that, let me rephrase that, reword that. We could
not
easily,
grateful for you.
We could easily choose to have the perspective of, we're tired all the time. We're single moms.
Yeah.
Like, let's just, these trips and these things, they take work, they take planning, they take prep, right? They take all of this stuff. Like, we could easily have the perspective of, we have enough on our plate daily as it is. We'll get to do those things one day when our partners come.
When y'all are out of the house and it's just me by myself. I will road trip then.
I meant when partners come.
Yeah.
But I love that. I love that I have you, because having two adults who are just ready to pick up and go and do things. And
this weekend, tomorrow, where are we going?
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So I'm really grateful that you have that same attitude and perspective, and that we can partner together and do these things.
Like last week, when it had a massive snowstorm, you're like, let's go play in the snow. And I was having a day where I was like, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, let's go play in the snow. And it was the best. It was so much fun. We were just
got
kids.
to see me eat snow for the first time.
You did get to eat snow and jump. Like, it was so fun.
You're welcome.
And I got to tackle you in the snow. I haven't done that in a long time, and it was amazing.
I love that.
It was so good. Such good memories. Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Until next week.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Unfiltered Summit Sisters.
Come join us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok to get a sneak peek into our lives.
It's beautiful, chaotic, crazy, and fun.
What else would you expect raising 10 kids?
All the links you need are in the show notes.
See you next week.